Hello and welcome back to episode 4 of my Aeon's End Legacy of Gravehold strategic campaign playthrough. Uh, future me is now present me, and hopefully we won't have to call on future me again after the little mix up in the last game, but you never know. But let's get right into it. So at the end of the last game, we had defeated the Mother of Rust, and from a story beat, kind of scouring the remains of the battlefield, seeing what we could salvage. We came across a barely alive, just one of those creatures that had made up the Mother of Rust. And there was an argument. Q thought, well, maybe we can tap the magic in this and use it as a sentinel to help protect land, or at least warn us if somebody's attacking. And so there was some disagreement there, as Takrin, who's kind of feeling, well, we shouldn't really mess with these forces. But and so I had to make the decision. Would we just kill the thing and put it out of its misery, or try and reprogram it and get some use out of it? I figure this group, we're going down the Azer path because it's Gravehold is right. Is New Gravehold is the group that says no, we don't want to tap into the void at all, and whereas we're of the group that says, well, yeah, we need to start thinking about other ways of doing things. So I decided to go ahead and not kill it, and that ended up putting a Sentinel sticker on the board. So we'll see what happens there. The group was then heading down to Azer, and we met up with Zaxos, who had two of the mages he's raised. So we now have Zaxos and Desmodia and Arachnos as lots more options. So we lost one, and then we gained three. Story beat. So from the last game, Thrax here was severed. He's okay, and he's kind of chill about it. He's like, well, I'll get my magic back eventually. But in the meantime, we read the passage in the book. Also, we got to put a sticker. Kind of a remnant of his power goes to somebody else. It seemed appropriate enough to put it on Razra, and so that ability. So when she uses her power, then you may reveal the turn order deck, discard a Nemesis turn order card from it, shuffle the turn order deck face down, and cross out this entire sticker. So we got a one-time use kind of his ability supercharged, where we can guarantee in a round that we'll not have to deal with a Nemesis. So that's something I think strategically. I don't know how many more times I'm gonna play Razra. I think I am gonna play her this game. I kind of like the continuity, and I want to experience more of what she can do. And then I might try two of these. Not sure yet, but if that's the case, we'll see how the game. I'll certainly save it towards the end when things potentially look really nasty. I'm not going to use it early on. But we'll see, because there's also the possibility if there's some climactic battle at the end that I might want to save it for that. And so then next up, I gained 12 experience. And so in addition to the one we already had, let's go through how I spent that. Okay, so first up, we had 13 experience to spend. And for our benefit, for having two, same thing, if we had two or fewer fire tokens, that gave us this. So, Southern Outpost bonus, place this in your barracks. So the player cards play this at the beginning of the next game. Each player gains an ether token, banish this card. So that'll come into effect now, and just so I don't forget, we'll go ahead and grab some ether tokens. So that'll come into effect this game. And then for experience, went ahead, spent 3 on this upgrade. At the start of the game, each player gains 1 silence token once per game. During their turn, they can place it on a minion. So I feel like these last few games, again, I'm coming from having mostly played Aeon's End Legacy, the first one, where silence was a huge mechanic. It was there almost throughout. I got really used to it. So I've been feeling times where it could really be coming in handy. I haven't had it. Now I do. So at the start of the game, so I've got these 3, so we'll drop these here. That cost me 3 experience, which seems like a bargain. I then spent 4 experience to upgrade a crystal, which now looks like this. You may place the next relic you gain this turn into your hand. So that just seems really nice. Bonus on top of it, especially I can kind of quick start. You know, I've got these upgraded things. I could potentially pairing this with the other special crystal, just finish off the brimstone battery and just I don't know if I would necessarily play that on Gravehold right on the first turn, but or place it in a breach on the first turn, but I could. So that's really good. And then I upgraded the spark because the other thing that really annoys me is shields. So now with this spark, when we cast, it deals 1 damage and then it deals an additional damage. And again, that's not that those are 2 separate, you know, it doesn't say this deals 1 additional damage. It's actually 2 separate instances. So if you have something with a shield or 2 shields, you could plink it, take out the shield, both shields, or take out a shield and then do damage. That costs 6. So 4 for this, 6 for this, 3 for this. I spent all my experience. That was 13. We did get some new cards for the supplies, 4 new cards. So taking a look at those, we have the Summoner's Horn. Any player may prep a spell in their discard pile to their opened or closed breaches. So again, you know, I may get that into the mix, being able to acquire it if I have this and play it immediately. It was great. It's also got a recall ability, which is a new mechanic. The recall ability is discard a card to gain 1 charge. So you can use the recall ability when it's in your discard pile, including the turn you buy it. So again, you know, another reason I feel like get one of these for Razra, and I can hopefully speed up the charge thing and really work on Rip. So, and you know, conveniently enough, it has a picture of Razra on it. It seems tailor-made for her. So that's that. All right, this next one has way too much red on it, and I'm using a magenta for my green screen. So we'll just show it here. So this is the Parallel Self. It's cost 6, deals 5 damage, and its recall ability, you can spend 2 Aether to deal 2 damage, which also seems great, although this one's a bit trickier to get into play. Next up, we've got the Phoenix Quill. 2 different players gain 1 life each. Costs 6, but I do love, you know, I've been lacking life gain ability, although I did, going back through the deck, one of the top level versions of Rip does heal Razra. Recall, lose 1 charge for an Incarna card that costs 3 or less from your discard pile to your hand. So I really like the flexibility potential of that. So that seems like a really good card. And last but not least, we have the Magnetic Burst, cost 4. So now we have some hard choices to make. Cast, deal 3 damage. You reveal the top 2 cards of your deck and place any number of those cards on top of your discard pile. So definitely some situations where that can be useful, but I think I like my other 4s, so probably not going to go with that. But yeah, I'm going to have to do some thinking here in terms of where I want to go. I think under the setup, at least for now, the rules are telling me it's 3-2-4, so I don't have the flexibility to shuffle that around. So if I'm going to add any relics, I'm going to have to take out some of these. So, but we'll see. In terms of the mages, I'll go over the 2 that I choose. Zaxos is interesting. He's got a deck of these 8 costs. Enough. I was tempted. Zaxos has a relationship upgrade with Q that would key off really well. Or no, not even the relationship upgrade. It's just one of the personal upgrades you can put on anybody having to do with casting expensive spells. And he's got a bunch of them that he can get using his charge ability. But again, you know, strategically, I think I decided, yeah, I'm probably just going to move forward with doing things like upgrading Azer, upgrading these cards I can start with. That's going to give me the most bang for my buck. Last but not least, we got some more advanced or some upgraded basics, which I'll have to shuffle into the mix. So that's everything for kind of the end game. Then going into the start of the next one, We get to Azer, and Azer, surprise, surprise, is under attack by some nasty-looking enemy, the Grief Warden. So I'm gonna get that set up. I haven't even opened that envelope yet, so we'll kind of get everything positioned and continue on with battle number 4. All right, so we've got everything set up, and let me tell you, it took me about an hour to go through everything with setup, and that is not a complaint. It was like the setup of the game, not hard at all, but in terms of strategically, just figuring everything out, and I was trying to make sure I did things in order. In terms of, it seemed like you had to do all the player things before you even know what you're fighting, which is fine. Uh, but the boss, this boss specifically says during setup, you can it changes the limits in the supply piles. So from that standpoint, I guess maybe you should know. But I had already made most of my decisions. That just, once I realized that was the boss, I was able to shuffle around a little bit. What I did here, take out a spell, include a relic. So I'm just gonna quickly walk you through kind of the decisions I made for setup. Um, the first thing was figuring out the order. Who do I want? Another thing I really like about the 3 players, only one person gets the double each round, and that it moves through. So who did I want to get the double? I felt like Arachnos, who I gave the upgraded spark, get him right off, being able to deal extra damage to deal with any minions that might come out. So I decided I wanted to lead off with Arachnos so he could get the double turn, so that by round 2 he's going into his upgraded stuff. I might have put Desdemoda second, or Desmodia, because she's got effects that potentially help other people. But from a space standpoint, it afforded me more room to put her off to the side. So that's how I ultimately made that decision. In terms of the other upgrades, and another reason I spent a lot of time, and now that I've looked at the boss, this might have not been the best use of my time, because I'm not going to have the flexibility I think. Some of these supply piles are going to be covered at the start of the game, but I didn't know that as I was making the decision, and that's fine. But I spent a lot of time figuring out, well, what is everybody's first turn going to look like? Because especially they've got this extra Aether. So I'm not going to go into that details now. I'm also not going to, I'll go over the specific special cards that these guys have when I play them. But that was a factor, thinking about what am I going to be able to do in the first turn, and who am I going to give these upgrades to. So like I gave Razra, boost a card in hand. And then the crystal that I still need to boost a couple more times to boost up, so we can get that going, knowing that I'm not going to be able to produce for this, but I still will have 1, 2, 3 in terms of spending. And then finally, again, kind of figuring everything out, I gave Desmodia the crystal that allows her to place the next relic you gain this turn into your hand. So I've kind of factored that into, hopefully, what my starting turn will be, but again, we'll see. I may not be able to do that. But that was kind of the planning. Interesting thing about Desmodia is she's only got 2 breaches, but these her 2 base things. She doesn't have any spark. She's got this devouring void spark, which I'll show you now. So with the devouring void spark, while prepped, I can prep an additional spell, and then when I cast it, it's going to do more damage based on how many spells. And I've taken my breach where I can do 2 spells, so I'll actually be able to do 3 once I open that. And her ability also lets you do extra, so you can really stack a whole bunch of spells on 1 breach. The other card she's got is very similar to this, but instead of extra damage, it lets your allies draw cards. So if you manage to prep 3 to a breach, cast this, your allies are going to get to each draw 2 cards, which seems great. So that's where I've set her up. So that's all. I put the upgrade of Spark, of course, with Razra, knowing we want to get those charges moving. For the supply, remember, I've got that ability that lets me upgrade 2 things. The Shifter's Cloak was already maxed out, and I've already gone ahead and done this. The Brimstone Battery, I just had all the rest are fully marked. It was just that 1 spot left, which I was able to do at the start of the game, and I thought, well, okay, let's get some of these Leviathan shells going, since I can get the freebie at the start, and so that was my thinking with that. Um, I want to stick certainly with the conjure ability, especially for Desmodia, so I can, pile on spells as early as possible onto her multi breaches to make her base cards more powerful. So that was that thinking. The Summoner's Horn again, it's got Razra. Like thematically, it just feels right. So I wanted to get that in. I was glad that I didn't have to that I was able to take all three relics because I wasn't sure which. Like I really, you're gonna see my plan is to get her a Shifter's Cloak right away. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that, but I did want to have that option. So being able to take three relics was seemingly good there. And I dropped this 6 cost spell. I really like it, but I think I only bought one, maybe two last game. Now, I do have, with the crystal, when you gain a card that costs 6 or more this turn, boost this if this is fully boosted. So I'm going to be an automatic boost on turn 1 when it's, and honestly, whenever it's paired with this. So I'll probably be able to boost it anyway. But my other thought was Razra can gain cards that cost 6 because when Rip upgrades from 3 to 6, that counts. So that's another way I could potentially boost this if I don't stick doing it with that. That said, I've already upgraded the Spark. Keep these cards together. I think within a couple turns, I'll have this fully boosted. So that was my thinking for all the choices I made there. So now let's talk about the Nemesis, which is actually called the Griefweaver, and it looks like this. And actually, I said, like, I'm not going to read a lot of the text, but I was reading the text for the flavor text of the characters, just going into it, learn a little bit more about them. Because, again, the only thing I know of Desmodia is, that she sacrificed herself at the intro to the first Legacy game. I don't know Arachnos or his story. So I like getting pieces of it. I'm going to read you from the Griefweaver just because I think this text is really well written. I really like the story aspect and how it's spread about, whether in the book or on the cards. It's really well done. So here's again, and all of these on the Nemesis are from the Bishop of Scrolls. When I saw the tips of Griefweaver's fingers cresting over the horizon, silhouetted black against the purple sky, I almost thought I had finally met another person in the vast wasteland of the void. Then, as it stepped closer, I realized that its arms and body are the only things it shares in common with our people. It towers above me, taller than the very walls of New Gravehold itself, but there is no heart inside it except a lust for magic and gems. Perhaps that is another commonality with humanity. It's greed. I'm not unfamiliar with the work of the Fountain of Souls, and the way the aether of fallen mages can reconstitute itself into nameless. I've pulled quite a few half-formed creatures from there to serve as soldiers in the army I am forging. Perhaps this great beast is an old comrade of mine left with nothing but a mindless craving for the magical accoutrement it once took into battle. I rather hope it was. It makes it all the more poignant that it is now fighting again at my side for the salvation of all our people. I also like, and I like that idea, like, from the Bishop of Scrolls, like, we just see the Nameless as the enemies, they're the bad guys, but there's a story there, too. They're, I guess, trying to protect their people. It doesn't mean we're not going to just completely annihilate them and do everything we can to do that, but cool. So that is, and appropriately enough, we're fighting a reconstituted Nameless with two mages who were reconstituted after the Fountain of Souls. So thematically, good time to bring these two in. Zaxos, we'll get to him at some point. So one other bit for setup is we have this deck of, these are fetters. So feeding off the power of gems and relics and spells and whatnot. So it's 15. There's I got to shuffle it. But I think there's 5 that cover gems, 6 that cover spells, 4 that can cover relics. So at the start of the game, we're going to draw 4 of these. 4 of our supply piles are going to be covered, and we're going to have to deal with them minions in order to access them. So basically, supply piles will be unavailable to us as long as there's one of these fetters on it. So having shuffled up, I'm just going to reveal and see what happens. So immediately place, this is a spell fetter, so douses can wait. Probably, I think I'd rather have, the Galvanize I want her to have, but the Dows deals more damage, and these are 4. Am I going to be able to get, how quickly am I going to get to be able to open multiple breaches? It may not matter because I may have to draw multiple of these, but I'll go ahead and I'm actually going to cover the Dows. So we'll start there. Then, and if we get another one, we'll cover the Galvanize. Now we've got a Relic Fetter. So don't plan on getting the Summoner's Horn just yet. That cost 5. It's going to be a bit, well, not that long, but not immediately going to be able to get her going. Also not planning on buying a Brimstone Battery too soon. So, although all these guys do damage to Gravehold. So, yeah, with these, just taking a quick look at one of these cards. All right, so you have to place them on top of an uncovered pile, and if you can't, Gravehold suffers 2 damage. And of course, they're minions with 4 health, so you can whack them down and clear them out. So, so that's what those do. All right, so next up, we've got another Spell Fetter, so we'll just cover the Galvanize. Hope we don't cover the Aether Ripple. Let's see. It's a Gem Fetter, so don't plan on getting one of these immediately, the 5 cost. All right, so now we've covered 4 supply piles. There's a little bit more setup. If I'd covered all 3 gems, then we would go again, and then just to make sure that you have access to a gem at the start. But it all worked out. Okay, so I'm not going to complain. The spell I would have bought early on, the Shifter's Cloak I wanted, the gems. I am going to be able to do everything I carefully planned, I think. We'll see. All right, boss has 60 life, as per usual. Not really going to worry about that right now. We got a bunch of minions, so let's get their health out, and we'll shuffle up the turn order deck and kick things off. Okay, so let's get started. We will shuffle up the turn order deck. For now, we've got room to put these over here. I'll figure things out. I've modified my setup a little bit, changed the location of the camera. I'm farther away from the green screen, so when we roll dice, I'm going to do things a little differently, and I actually think that this will help me so I don't forget that it's the die is sitting on the green screen. So it's a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And the first turn is going to go to the Nemesis. Oh, and I did check. I double and triple checked. When the Nemesis unleashes, we pull out a Fetter. That's it. So we'll draw off the Fetter deck every time it unleashes. That's the effect. So let's go ahead and see what the first effect is. It is Carrion Raiders. All right, so this is one of the upgraded basics. By the way, and when making the Nemesis deck, I think I ended up adding only 2 regular basic cards, both rank 1. At this point, I have more than enough upgraded basics in 2 and 3 that all of them are going to be upgraded basics. But this guy has 3 shields, has 3 health, persistent Gravehold, suffers 2 damage, and add a fire token. Yuck. That's definitely going to go off a few times, so definitely going to need to... We're going to have to clear these away anyway, and of course, unsurprisingly, if all the supply piles are covered, I lose the game. If this deck runs out, just shuffle it up, reshuffle. Okay, so that is the Nemesis turn. So we'll get that guy into play. Yeah, I'm going to have to move this around. All right, so let's go ahead and see who's going to be next. It's going to be the Nemesis again. That's unfortunate, though. It doesn't really matter because I certainly was not going to be able to take this thing out this round. So just as well, right? I get to at least see what the Nemesis is going to be doing. So Gravehold suffers 2 damage, so that's going to knock that down to 28. I'll just throw it down here for now. And we're going to add a fire token, so I'll just put that on the boss like I've been doing. I guess last game I was putting them off to the side. Yeah, we'll put it over here. Okay, so we got the fire token, and then we are drawing Construct. Well, that is absolutely brutal. I had to read that. Destroy an uncovered spell pile. Ow. So Aether Ripple is gone. That does mess with my plans. That's going to have a pretty significant impact on the game, as I now no longer have... I mean, so instead of buying Aether Ripples, I'm going to be buying Star Glasses, I guess, as long as they're around. It does have the conjure ability, so in a way it becomes a 2-cost spell that replaces it. Just so as things go, I suppose that could have been worse. Gravehold takes 2 damage, down to 26. Yikes! That was I had to double check. I was like, did I put these in the right order? Is this a rank 1? It is a rank 1. That is really nasty. So that's that for the Nemesis. What are you gonna do? Next up is going to be Razra. So I'm gonna look things over, and then we'll see what she's gonna do. All right, I'm gonna try something different for this game. I think I'm gonna just do my turn and then let you know what I did. Hopefully that should make the video shorter. Last one, these are starting to get a bit out of control. So in this case, I used Rip to gain a charge. I used this crystal just for its ability to boost card in hand. So this has now got 2 marks on it. That leaves me with 1, 2, 3. I was originally planning on buying a Ripple. Don't have that option. So, and I put the Spark here. I am going to buy a Star Glass. And then discard, and again, as for right now, I'm going to end up drawing all these cards together anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So that's going to be it for Razra's first turn. Next up is going to be Wild, which is going to be Arachnos. We'll move the Wild token over here and take Arachnos' turn. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to prep the Gossamer Web here. I'm going to spend 2 to go ahead and focus this breach. I'm not going to be able to take advantage of this ability this turn, but I'll be able to acquire a thing next turn. I felt like it's more important to just keep the damage going, get things in motion. So I'll prep the Spark there. I've got 2 left, so I'm going to use that. I'm just going to get a charge. So, not perfect, but, and then these 3 will go in. Another thing is, it occurs to me, right, I do have these silence tokens. If I wanted to stop this guy, I just feel like there's worse things coming. I can take some damage on Gravehold. Once I get the Shifter's Cloaks going, even just 1 on here is really going to help. The fire tokens, it seems like 5 is the magic number, stay below 5. Who knows what else is going to show up. But for right now, I'm going to hold on to them. That's going to be it for Arachnos' first turn of the round. And he's going to go ahead and take his second turn. So I'm going to figure out where I want to throw this damage, how I want to do this, and then figure out what I'm going to buy, and we'll see. All right, it's tough. I feel like, I could start clearing one of these out, but I just can't leave this unchecked for too long. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to cast both of these. For a total of 3 damage. Again, it's 3 instances, so I can just pop off all 3 shields. So that at least takes that out. Then we'll go ahead and prep the Spark. And now I'm just kind of thinking ahead, right? And I'm going to draw these 5 cards together. I'm probably not going to be able to prep both of them. I'll probably just prep the Gossamer Web and then gain a charge. It won't be optimal to open this, but now I don't know how long supply piles are going to stick around, the fact that they can be destroyed. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get a Brimstone Battery. I think that's going to be critical. Especially like now, if I draw one of the things that covers a spell pile, Gravehold's going to take 2 damage. So go ahead and get a battery while I have the chance. And 4, 5, and then just thinking ahead, right? So that's going to be that hand. So I will have 4 to spend, and maybe be able to get one of these, or maybe by then we'll manage to uncover a spell. Who knows? But that's it for Arachnos' turn, which is going to finish things out with Desmodia, and I'm pretty sure I know where I'm going with Desmodia. But let me just get everything in a row. Yeah, so I just realized something I hadn't even thought out. I'm actually going to be fine over here, because what I'm going to do is, first, Desmodia is going to spend 3 to get a Shifter's Cloak, but you may place the next relic you gain this turn into your hand. So that's going to be gained. I'm then going to play the Shifter's Cloak, to open this breach, it's already fully boosted. That doesn't matter. I do get to cast a spell regardless because it's fully boosted. So I'm going to go ahead, cast this spark, which is going to do 2 damage. And by the way, the reason I'm doing this spark and not this one is because Razra has a double turn coming up. I'm not sure it even matters, but I don't know. That was briefly thinking in terms of Razra being able to cycle through more damage. But we'll go ahead and deal the extra damage there. So then I will spend 2 to focus. Yep, 2 to focus Desmodia's Breach, which allows me to put out the Devouring Void Spark. For now, it's just going to deal 1 damage. It's not until I'm able to put more stuff out there that it does its full capability. But yeah, I mean, that was pretty effective. So I think the only thing, let's see, yeah, so I'm going to draw these 5 cards together, so that's fine. There's Desmodia's next hand, and that was a pretty good turn. Got this guy down to 1, so he's almost taken out. He's ready to be able to put both of those down, so let's go ahead, shuffle up, and see what we're facing next. All right, so there's the deck. It's 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it is going to be the Nemesis. So, unfortunately, we didn't... Honestly, I did a lot damage to him a lot faster than I thought I was going to be able to. But we did not manage to take him out. So, let's... deal with that first. So Gravehold is going to take 2 damage, going to get a second fire token, and then we are going to reveal something terrible, I'm sure. All right, so it's an upgraded basic, Spreading Brush Fire to discard, spend 7. I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that. Power 2, Unleash twice. That is not good. Gravehold suffers 3 damage, add a fire token to your location to the map. So all bad things. So I'll kind of go through and see. We've got 1 more Nemesis. Is there any way I can finagle a way to produce 7 or give myself a chance? I'll have to see, because the Unleash twice would be rough. But we'll see. That's going to be it for the Nemesis turn. Drop 2 power tokens on that. And see who's going to go next. It is going to be the Nemesis again. All right. 2 more damage to Gravehold. Another fire token. But that is just really unfortunate, because I should have been able to take this guy out. It just did not work out well for me. Pull off a power token and reveal Incense. So, oh boy. We're going to have to unleash twice. Any player suffers a damage, or Gravehold suffers 5 damage, and we add 2 fire tokens. All right, I'm going to have to think about this one for a sec. And by a sec, what I really meant is a sec. It did not take long. I cannot unleash twice right now. That would cover 2 more piles. This is threatening, almost certainly going to cover 2 more. Game over. I lose. Unless I can manage to deal 4 damage to one of these. I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that. If one of these Nemesis comes back up at the beginning before I get to go again, I'm only sitting on 2 damage right now. Razor will get to do 1 more, but it's not going to be enough. So I can't risk losing the game. Gravehold goes down to 17. I got 4 fire tokens already. What are you going to do? So let's see. We'll drop one of these again so we don't forget. All right, so Arachnos. I mean, I know for sure I'm going to prep both of these. I've got 3 to spend. And I've only got 1 thing I can buy. Definitely too soon to go for charges. I don't need to focus a breach, so we'll get Starglass. That's that. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, next up is going to be Desmodia, and I mean, I can tell you right now, I'm going to go ahead. I have to cast this because it's on a closed breach. So take that thing out. So, I mean, it still managed to get a couple fire tokens out, but not much to be done for it. All right, So, and I'm thinking now, did that thing went off 3 times, so I should actually already have 5 fire tokens, right? Yeah. I don't know. I'll double check that in the video, but I'm pretty sure I'm up to 5 fire tokens now. And I just forgot to put one out. All right, and then I'm going to take a moment and figure out, kind of plan ahead where I want to go with Desmodia. All right, there's just no real way to do this efficiently. I could get a charge and focus her breach, drop this down, but I'm still not buying anything. I think I need to get moving. So I'm going to spend 3. I'm going to get the Starglass because if she doesn't have multiple spells, then what am I doing with her? So that at least I can conjure. And then I've got 1 that I'm just going to burn, and then I'm going to hang on to this. I'll be able to play it next turn. My next hand is going to be, it's going to end up being these 4 cards. So even if these 5, I wasn't going to have a spell anyway. It gets me in a position to maybe get these 2 grouped together, at least in the short term. So, and then it's just a question of, it doesn't even matter. It's all crystals. So they're all discarded together. So when I conjure, it's probably going to be a crystal. That's fine. So it's not great, but you know, I gotta be thinking ahead towards. I would have loved, that would have been a great turn to buy a spell that cost 4, but that was not in the cards. So that's it for Desmodia. Wild, we're going to take Razer's turn, and so yeah, Razer's got back-to-back turns. So all right, so it's going to be pretty tricky, a lot of thinking and planning ahead, but I'm really looking at this. I want to stop this if I can. I mean, I've already got 5 fire tokens, and I can't even buy these yet. The unleashes would be bad. So I got to give myself every opportunity. I was trying to find a way that I could generate 7 next turn. I was almost there. I think basically I'm like 1/8 or short. So here's what I'm going to do instead. I'm going to cast the Spark. So that's going to deal damage. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it to this guy. From 4 to 3 so that I can unlock the Galvanize, hopefully. We'll prep a Spark. Now, I'm going to use Rip Help to gain my 2nd charge. Sorry, 3rd charge, because I gained 1 from the Spark. It's fully boosted. So then I will spend 3, and I will buy a Starglass. Okay, now, I know that my next hand is going to look like these 5 cards. I'm going to be able to upgrade this guy. I'm going to be able to get one of these, as you'll see how. That'll go with these cards, because it'll go on top of my deck. So 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to need 2 more. So what I need to make sure I do is that the next 2 cards, as I discard, I need to make sure I have crystals there. That'll get me to the 7. And then these 2 doesn't matter. They're going to be drawn together and throw them down. So that's the end of Razer's first turn. Right, so then we flip the turn order. We know that Razer goes again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to use the this crystal to boost a card in hand. I'm going to boost this other one, which is going to get it up to 3 circles. It's now fully boosted, so I don't get any Aether for this because it's an aura ability, but this one it is fully boosted, so it's going to produce an extra. So this produces 2, this crystal. That 2 is going to get me a charge. Okay? So now I've got 4 charges. I'm going to spend 4 charges to upgrade Rip Help. Again, destroy a card with Rip in its name in your hand. Gain a card with Rip in its name from the personal upgrade deck that costs up to 3 more than the destroyed card. Place that card in your hand. So here's the card we're going to get. Is going to be Rip Scout. And Rip Scout, gain a card that costs 4 or less from the supply and place it on top of your deck. So that is going to go into my hand. And now I'm in a position, I will play Rip Scout. And I will gain the Irradiated Jewel. I will put it on top of my deck, as we had talked about. So that's that, leaving me with leaving me with 3 to spend. But actually, before I even do that, just backtracking a sec. Here's the other part. Train Rip, I've also got this other ability. Then you may reveal the turn order deck, discard a nemesis turn order card from it, shuffle the turn order deck face down, and cross out this entire sticker. So I'd said going into the game that it's a one-time use. I would save it for a big moment. The thing is, I could save it at the end of the game, but I almost think it's better to use it early in the game. Because later in the game, individual cards will hit you hard. There is the one reason is you avoid a double nemesis turn potentially, which can be devastating if 2 bad things come out. But whether you use it late or early, you're doing 1 less nemesis turn. So on that regard, it's equally good at any point. The advantage to doing it now is I'm behind the 8 ball. I've got all these minions. I've done 1 damage to them so far. I've got this thing about to pop off. And I've got basically 2 nemesis cards in the deck versus Razra's 1. The odds are not in my favor for all this setup to get me to 7. There's still no guarantee it's going to work. But at least let me give myself the best chance. Also, fewer nemesis cards hopefully give me an ability to get everybody set up a little bit more, start to get ahead of the curve. So, with all of that said and done, I am going to go ahead and use this. I'll just peel the sticker off. If technically, I think you can even overwrite them. So I don't know why I have to cross this out. I'll just remove the sticker, but I'll take care of that later. I'm going to use the ability again. Anytime you need to look at the turn order deck and it's empty, then you at that point reshuffle. So to reveal the turn order deck, I now get to flip it over. I look at it. I get to discard a nemesis, and then we have to shuffle it up and cross out this entire sticker. And since I am shuffling, I will go ahead, reroll if I get a 6. It's a 1, so it's going to stay the way it is. And then, okay, just had to backtrack for a second because I realized I never cast this spark. So this was actually a 3 life, right? Because we hit it with the specialized spark first, knocked it down to 3, and then at the beginning of this turn, I would have cast the spark, which would have done a 2nd damage to it. All right, so one slight change I'm going to make. I'm not going to backtrack, but just is to say that since I should have done that first, before I activate Rip Scout and all of this, I am going to use the Starglass to conjure. So, before I acquire this, it would have been the top card, which I knew was a spark. It's a special spark, so that's unfortunate. But now I'm prepped and ready to deal 2 damage, which can take this out if Razra. Now I've got 2 people, and I guess technically, or yeah, Arachnos could do it anyway. But I'm in a much better position. I've now increased my odds of limiting this, opening up that deck. Especially, it'd be nice to do it. Desmodia's not going to be able to take it out. So let's maximize our chances. I've got 1 extra crystal, which will just go to waste. But yeah, and then I would use the Rip ability to put that on top of my deck. So that's it for that. All right, yeah, so I correctly calculated with the hand. We're going to be able to produce 7. Rip's going to be able to gain a charge. And that's the way that looks. Okay, so that was Raza. That was the end of round 1. Now we go into round 2. That was the end of round 2. Now we go into round 3. We've already taken care of this. So let's see. All right, it is going to be Arachnos. Not Razra, but... Desmodia is 3. So, all right, that's unfortunate that Desmodia is going next. I would have rather one of these went first. That's not ideal, but Desmodia does have the wild. So, all right, so going for hyper effectiveness. So I know that I want 2 Shifter's Cloak in Desmodia's hands, but again, I'm just thinking in the immediate. I got to deal with threats where I can. I have some really good opportunity here. The Nemesis card could be next. So I'd like to give myself the best chance, the most options. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 3. And I've got my crystal where I place the next relic you gain is turned into your hand. So we're going to spend that 3. We're going to gain another Shifter's Cloak. Also fully boosted. They all are. I am then going to play Shifter's Cloak, and I am going to focus this breach, which is then, because it's fully boosted, going to allow me to cast a spell. I'm going to cast the Spark. It's going to deal 1 damage. It's going to deal 1 extra damage from the Shifter's Cloak. So it's dealing 2 damage, then deal 1 damage. So I'm going to do 2 damage to this, taking that guy out, and then 1 damage to... I'm not sure. It's going to be 1... I think, yeah, let's keep a couple spells open, because if this goes off, more stuff's going to get covered. I don't want that Galvanize getting back covered again if I can avoid it. So I'll do the 1 there. And so that was the first Shifter's Cloak. Then I'm going to Shifter's Cloak again. And I guess the only question I have to decide is, do I want to focus this to get this closer to open? No, I think let's just get this open so that I don't need to spend any Aether. So now this is opened. I can prep 2 spells to it. I get to cast another spell. So what I'll do in this case is I will cast this spell. So it's, again, the Conjured card deals 2 damage. So that is going to be 2 + 1 is 3, which is going to take out this tether. So now, oops, that's not, okay, so I just forgot what was where. I was targeting the 3 spell, which is gone. But again, I want, yeah, okay, I've only got 2 spells. So let's keep them both open. So we'll do it on the DAOs. Yeah, I had forgotten I destroyed a pile. I was thinking this pile was these guys, the Aether Ripple. So, and again, I just have them positioned this way. Like, I should probably have them offset. They're not hiding it. They're just, it's just covered. But you're supposed to know what's there. All right. So then I can go ahead and prep the Invigorating Void Spark while this is prepped. An additional spell may be prepped to speech. I don't have any additional spells yet. So I want to put a little, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, and I think those are both crystals. So a couple more crystals will get me to 4, with the possibility, if I wanted to, probably buy a spell, but if I get a Brimstone Battery to be able to play it, actually, you know what? I'll put these here instead. I'll wait on this one, I think. Yeah, because as good as the battery would be, I've already got one over here. So I think let's delay this. I need to get more spells in hand. So these are the 3 cards that'll be paired. These will put some space with the Shifter's Cloak. So that's my discard order. Then we are drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. That is it for Desmodi. All right, here we go. So there's 4 cards left. 1 Nemesis, 1 Razra. Would love to see you again, Razra. What do we got? Not Razra. All right, Arachnos. Doesn't have as many spells to cast. So I could leave this while prepped. When you gain a card from the supply, gain 1 charge. And on casting, deal 1 damage. Of course, the advantage to casting it is I get to, I'm moving through my deck. I'll get it back sooner. But I'm going to take a moment and figure out what I want to do in terms of, well, I don't have to think that hard. I've got 4. I'm going to get a spell. But let me look at how things shake out and what I want to be where. All right, so here's how it looks. I'm not going to cast this because... all right, so, I'm going to be drawing these 5 cards. Then I'm going to be drawing the Spark in a separate hand. If I play the Gossamer Web, I'm going to be drawing them together. I'm planning on buying a spell. Having 3 spells in a row, I don't necessarily want at this point, and that's forcing me to have to spend on, focusing a breach, which I don't necessarily want to do right now, first and foremost. So I'm not going to cast it. The Brimstone Battery is going to get attached here. So anytime I cast a spell from this breach, I'm going to heal Gravehold 1, which is going to be fantastic. I'm going to spend my 4. Again, I don't want to get the galvanize yet because it's going to be paired with the spark. So again, in order to maximize it, I'd have to focus this. I don't know that I'm going to want to do that just yet. So I'm going to go ahead and get it doused. A little bit extra damage without having to open another or fix another breach. That cost me 4, so that's that. 4, 5. Oh, and I did, while prepped, when you gain a card from the supply pile, gain a charge. So I do gain. That was my other thought, is I could really kick Arachnos into gear, because return up to 3 cards that cost 4 or less, that can include crystals, sparks, whatever. So I'll be able to do a lot with that ability. So the sooner I can get that going, the better. So that does it for Arachnos. Next up is... it's the Nemesis. All that effort. I guess the only positive to it is we will be able to spend the 7 elsewhere, but this is going to fire off. Okay, so Unleash twice. So the Unleash is going to reveal 2 of these. This is a gem. Fetter. I'm gonna have to think for a moment where I want to put that. I guess I have to decide before I. Well, I might as well reveal the next one. It's not going to influence this, and if I draw another gem, I don't even have to think about it. So it's a spell, and again, I want the galvanize for here, so that's going to go there. So I'm just gonna kind of look over my hands, see where things are at, who's more likely. Are we going to be spending 3 or 4 to get one of these before I decide which one to cover? I'm just going to finish this out so I don't forget with the spreading brush fire. Gravehold suffers 3 damage, down to 14. And another fire token, we're up to 6. I may have to burn these douses sooner than I want. That's going to resolve that. I am still going to have to resolve this card. I'm going to put it here so I don't forget, but I'm going to take a break and figure out which of these I want to cover. All right, since I got a 4 spell available, if I have 4, I'm more likely to buy a spell than this, so I'm going to go ahead and with the Gem Fetter, I'm going to cover that. And of course, this could all be a moot point depending on what I draw next. Let's see what horribleness the deck has in store for me. It is Clutch. Oh my god. All right, let's take a look at this. All right, I really hope these effects are just early game to kind of limit your options, and I'm not going to be like losing every single supply. But here we go. We have to destroy a Fetter and all of the cards from the supply pile the Fetter was on, and any player suffers 2 damage. I'm going to have Razra take the 2 damage because at the moment, she's the one who eventually may be able to heal herself. We've also got Arachnos can heal people. All right, so in terms of what I destroy, I can't destroy another spell pile. I could do this one. I could probably do one of the gems. So it's really just a question of... the irradiated gems are just better. It would be nice to boost these. I had the idea of it. I'll give it a moment to think, and so I'll be right back. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and destroy this gem pile. So, which is the Leviathan Shell. At least I managed to get a mark out on it at the start of the game. But, yeah, it just... we'll slide these down this way. I need the stuff that I can afford. Also, these only produce 2 until they get fully boosted. These can potentially produce 3. That's more important right now. So that's destroyed. Those are all destroyed. Bring these down a little bit. All right, that was the Nemesis turn. Right, I got 2 left. I'm glad I only had 1 Nemesis this turn this round, I guess. My Gambit didn't quite pay off, but again, I'm going to be able to start moving things forward. So we've got Razra and Desmodia are going. It's going to be Razra first. All right, well, I don't have to spend 7 to get rid of that card, so I've got a lot of buying power now. Or 6 or 7. So let me look over my options and see where I want to go. All right, yeah, I want to keep the damage coming. So first things first, we'll have Rip help give us a charge. Then I'll use the Star Glass, and I'm going to Conjure. So that's that, and yeah, that's just a crystal, so that's perfect. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not gonna overheat the irradiated jewel because I know this isn't a nemesis card. So I'm just gonna get 2 more charges. That's gonna set me up to upgrade Rip that I draw in my next hand, right? So looking at my next hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the double crystal, so I'm going to be producing 5. I've got Rip, I've got a Spark, so I'll be able to do some good stuff there. And then just a question of, again, with the discard, really important. Like, I can't overstate, you could just be like, I'll just throw them down, and you can do that. But if you're playing at top strategic level and you really want to have your best shot to win, then you should think ahead and at least, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's these 2. It's a question of what 3 cards do I want to pair with these. So I'm going to take a moment to figure that out, and then I'll let you know. All right, and further complicated by, am I going to conjure or not? Possibly, if I conjure with the Star Glass, but that's these 5 cards, that would be the boosting crystal, which is not a big deal now, so that's a possibility that I might do that. Either way, I'm going to be drawing, I'll get all 3 of these cards together, and then maybe I end up with one of the crystals as well. So, and I'm not shooting for any specific number here in terms of how much I need to produce, so I feel pretty good about that. So that is that for Razra, and then we'll finish it off with Desmodia. The wild token passovers to Arachnis. All right, for Desmodia, I'm not going to cast this yet because this is better when there's more spells on the breach. So I'm just going to slide these down a bit. I'm going to leave this here for a later turn. It's not like there's anything I'm about to be able to take out. I'll get out the Devouring Void Spark. And then, the debate here is I have 5 to spend. I could get the Galvanize, which I really want, but I can also conjure, which would make these more effective. And I think at this stage, and I'm pretty sure that's a crystal, so that's probably the better play for me. So I'll do that, and yeah, it's a crystal. So now I've got a bunch of damage on there. And then with 3, I'll just go ahead and get another Star Glass. And then, let's see. So 1, and that's going to be a Shifters. 2, 3. Oh, no, they're both here. I'm not even sure what that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then these 2 are going to be... Yeah, let's keep the Star Glasses together. Okay, so then we'll draw 1. It's a crystal. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, interesting. Let's see what we do with that hand next turn. That's it for Desmodia. That's the end of round 3. So we're back to having to face the Nemesis twice. At least we got nothing out here. We got 3 guys here, 4 open spots. But we're starting to get to a position. I mean, we're sitting on 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, minimum 8 damage on the board. If we fire everything off, so we'll be able to take out 2 more of these. So let's see how things go. Get our die out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And first up is going to be Razra. No reason not to pop one of these for 2. Razra's got pretty good production. I would like to start getting, to potentially get one of these. So let's start here with 2 damage. All right, then, all right. Yeah, let me take a moment to figure this out. All right, yeah, I think the timing is going to work out really good for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use this crystal fully boosted to gain a charge. I'm going to spend 4 charges. Rip Scout, you were useful for the one time, but we're done with you. We're going to upgrade you. And I have 3 choices here, and all of, which 2 more interesting than the other. Rip Attack Any ally may prep a spell in hand, cast up to 2 spells, prepped by any player. Spells cast this way deal 1 additional damage. That seemed really tempting, kind of over here, but they're already full, and at this point, I would just prep that, do a bunch of damage. But Rip Protect, an ally draws 2 cards, silence a minion. I've still got all 3 of my silences. What I really like here, I think, is Rip Eat. An ally gains 2 charges and may destroy a card in hand. We haven't done any deck thinning yet. So I'm going to get that. That goes in my hand. I'm going to play that. It's going to be over here. So we're going to gain 2 charges. This is the time for Arachnos, because after Arachnos' next turn, they'll have a bunch of cards in their discard pile. Potentially, they'll be able to get up to 5. So we'll destroy a crystal. So that's that. Although maybe it should be a spark. It depends on what I'm going to do. All right, well, we'll come back to that. I think that's fine. Over here, so I can prep a spark, and then it's just really a question of, do I want to gain another one of these? The problem, that would be the last one. I can't run out of supply pile. So let me quickly think this over. Yeah, God, I'd be so happy right now if I'd been acquiring these Aether Ripples. I'd be in such good shape. So I can't conjure. I don't have an open spot. I probably should start working this, but I also think I'm pretty close to upgrading the other Rip. So I think I might be able to, because I had stacked, all of my expensive stuff is in here. So I think I may be able to upgrade my other Rip, and I can take the ability that lets me focus a breach. So that's what we'll do. We'll just spend 2 for a charge. The other one goes to waste, and I'll just figure out the discard, and then we'll take the next turn. Okay. So I'm good there. That's it for Razra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, next up is Wild, which is Arachnos. Okay, so I need that 5th charge next time. I mean, I should be able to do it then. I could leave this around again. Okay, so where I'm at is I am going to cast this because I'm going to get it back next turn, although I could cast it next turn. So I guess it makes more sense to leave it out there. I'll prep the spark, and I am going to acquire. I'm going to spend this 4 because once I kick off his ability, I am going to be able to basically, I'm going to get 3 cards back in hand. I'll be able to get the Gossamer Web, which I'm going to cast if I want. I'll be able to get the Starglass back and whatever card I buy now. And that's going to be a Brimstone Battery because even though, we're going to start, I'm going to be casting 3 spells off here. So Gravehold start getting life back, but be that as it may, I'd love to get another one of these in play and really keep it moving. So that's it. I'm going to spend 4 straight up to get the Brimstone Battery. That is Arachnos' turn. And then we'll see that next up is Desmodia. All right, here we go. So casting. I think I've worked everything out the way I want. I think, so what I'm going to do is, let's see, we're 1, 3, 5. I'm going to start with the Invigorating Void Spark while this is prepped. An additional, till 1 damage, any ally draws a card for each other spell. So we'll cast this first. So that's going to deal 1 damage. We'll do it to here. Actually, we will not do it to here. We'll do it to here. Then they're going to get to draw 2 cards. So that's that. Then we'll play the Devouring Void Spark while this is prepped. Initial You deal 1 damage, deal additional damage equal to the number of other spells prepped to this breach. So this is going to deal 2 damage. So then we'll do it over here for 2. So that takes care of that. I got the Summoner's Horn back and available. Then last but not least, I'm going to cast this for 2, which I'll do over here. So, all right. So I just cast 3 spells from there. So Gravehold gains 3 life, thanks to the Brimstone Battery. Attaches to any player's breach when a spell is cast from this breach. If this card is fully boosted, Gravehold gains 1 life. Yeah, no limitation on how many times that can activate. All right, then I'm going to use the Shifter's Cloak. I'm actually going to focus this breach so that I can start getting towards the +1 damage. And then I'm going to spend 4. And while it's tempting, I could, get this into hand and play it. Let's get that galvanized. We've been waiting for way too long. I'm going to keep this crystal away from the galvanize. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll, probably prep the top. So we'll just throw we'll throw that there. We'll throw a couple of crystals just in case. I think I'd rather get the Shifter's Cloak out and then pair this potentially with some more valuable crystals. We'll see how that works out. 5. Yeah, that should work out really well because now I got valuable crystals because then I could get one of these right into my hand. Okay, so that was... Oh, I almost forgot. I left out a step, which is Desmodia did cast Shifter's Cloak over here. I can cast any player's spell, and it does +1 damage. So what I'll do is I'll give both the opportunity to take this guy out. I'll go ahead and cast the Spark here for 2 damage to this guy. Okay, so it is the Nemesis turn. So let's see what we've got here. Okay. All right, we have Consume. Unleash. Any player suffers 2 damage and discards a card in hand. If that card costs 2 Aether or less, add a fire token to your location. Well, we definitely don't want to add a fire token. So let's start with the Unleash. We have, all right, is a Relic Fetter. So we'll just go ahead and cover the Shifter's Cloak. All right. All right. Now for discarding a card in hand, I think we'll just discard one of these Star Glasses. We're not going to need both of these, and I definitely don't want a fire token. So that does it for that one. Next up, we have the Nemesis again. All right, and we are looking at... All right, so we've got a Doom Council. To discard, we have to spend 6 2 power tokens. If there are 4 or more fetters in play, any player suffers damage equal to the number of fetters in play, otherwise unleash twice. Okay, so let's grab that, put that into play. So, all right, well, we'll see if we can potentially take care of that. We'll get to that. The effect would not be terrible because I don't think there's going to be 4 fetters in play, depending on how much we can get them down. Let's see how things go. So that is both Nemesis turns. That's going to bring us to close out the round with Arachnos. And we're going to have a bunch of stuff going on here. Let's start by casting the Gossamer Web for 1 damage. That is going to take this out. So we have access to Dow's back. All right. And then we do have a bunch of options here as we can now get that 5th charge and fire off the ability. All right. So I think what I'm going to do here is just try and keep the damage going. So I am going to get a charge. I'm going to activate during my main phase to return up to 3 cards that cost 4 or less. So we'll get the Brimstone Battery, the Star Glass, and we'll get the Gossamer Web back. So then what I'm going to do, I've got 3 spells in hand now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend these 2 for a total of 3 so I can focus this breach. So now I can drop some spells down. Let's go here in case I want to leave this out. Let's drop this here. We will put the double... Actually, let's put the... Yeah. We'll put the double spark over here. And then... Alright, so we can take the brimstone battery. It's tempting to kind of build towards putting it on here, but I think I probably want to keep the damage moving. This is going to be open pretty soon. It's going to be a breach of choice, so we'll put it there. And maybe when opportunity comes, we'll buy one more looking to put it here. 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're just looking at 3 crystals on the top of our deck. Be a good opportunity to conjure, perhaps. Okay, so that's the end of the round. So we'll shuffle up and see where we're going to be going next. Whether or not we can get to the 6. We're 1 short over here. It's been a lot easier if we'd be throwing Aether tokens around this game, but I think it's probably going to have to be Razra if that opportunity comes up. But let's see. We may not even get the chance, starting with the top card. All right. It's back to Arachnos, where we're going to be able to deal a bunch of damage. Okay, so for Arachnos, let's go ahead. We'll start with the Dows, and we will deal 3 damage to this guy. Then we'll go ahead and Spark, dealing 1 damage to here and 1 damage to here. And then that is going to discard that. So we're down to just 1. At this point, I think I'm going to leave this in play. I don't really need to do the damage now. Start to build up. I do want to get this open. So I'm going to use my crystals to open this breach. I did cast a spell off here this round, so Gravehold is up to 18. From over here, I can either get a charge or conjure. So I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead. I know these are crystals, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and conjure to my open breach. I'll drop a spark. And let's see, next turn I've got 1, 2, these are both crystals, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, let's throw this here so I can get maybe one of these 4-cost spells, throw these on top of that. And that's going to do it for Arachnos. Okay, the deck is pretty lean now. Okay. So Arachnos done. Now it is the wild, which is Razra. And at this point, I have a ton of generation. I can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, potentially 8. I was going to go big into charges, which I still may do. I got to decide whether or not I want to deal with this. So let's figure it out. Okay, so for starters, might as well just fire off the spark, get a damage. And now it occurs to me, right, Razra is going to get to go again. I guess there's a possibility the Nemesis goes twice. If this goes off, as of right now, I'm starting to deal more damage. I would like to pivot to the boss. That said, I really wanted to get Rip going here, so I'm going to focus on that. So we're going to spend 1, 2, 3, 4. Not going to take a chance on the jewel. Although I could do the jewel just to see what's next, give me a little more information, but I think I'm just going to go with it and we'll see what happens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is going to get me 3 charges. I'm going to spend all 4 charges, and I'm going to upgrade this to Rip Fetch. So this is focus your closed breach with the lowest focus cost. You may destroy a card in hand. So I'm going to go ahead and focus that breach and start doing some deck thinning so I can get around to my rips more. And then I've still got the spark, so we'll go ahead and prep that. Looking at my hand, we're going to be looking. So my hand coming up is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the double, 5, 6. So I will be able to produce 6 and potentially get rid of that if the Nemesis doesn't go twice before me. So who knows? We'll see. Then the next hand is just going to be 1 plus 4 of these. So we'll keep it there and like that. So, all right, I think that looks pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, what do we got? Hey, look at that. It's Razra. All right, so now we'll go ahead and cast the spark, which will deal another damage to this, give us a charge, and no reason to mess around. Let's just get rid of that and not deal with it. So there's the 6 to get rid of this, so we don't have to worry about that. And then over here, so with Rip Eat, any ally gains 2 charges. So let's throw down a couple here, and then may gains 2 charges. I thought that was right. I thought that was draw 2 cards. That's a different one. All right, so it's may destroy a card in hand, so it's not the optimal, but we'll go ahead and give the 2 charges to Desdemonia. I'm going to hold on to this hand, not going to destroy anything. I also don't want to do anything to this. I want to start buying those Dowses. God knows when a pile is going to blow up. So I think I'm just going to leave it at that with just the 2 charges. And then we'll throw all this here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so next up is the Nemesis, and let's see what we got. Okay, it is Impending Immolation. All right, so here's another power card. Spend 6 to get rid of it. Unleash, Gravehold suffers 3 damage. Add a fire token. Don't want to do that. So, but that's that card, so we'll put that into play, and it's probably going to... I mean, we may not be able to do anything about it. We may just have to start burning some Dowses earlier than we want. Kind of right about now, I'm wishing I had come up with some other way of dealing with fire tokens. There is an ability you can buy for experience that basically reduces your fire tokens by 2. I think I might get that next game. And maybe consider putting back in another card to get rid of fire tokens. We'll see. Okay. But, so that's just it for the Nemesis. Next up is Desdemonia, who... Pretty straightforward turn. We'll Shifter's Cloak, start working on getting this one open. Then I'm going to spend 4, get another Galvanize. That's key for her to be able to stock up the spells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then galvanizing that crystal. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's probably just a lot of purchasing power. The Galvanize is then going to be with the rest. Just in case something weird happens, put that there. And we'll do it like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Holy moly. Okay. Spell Overload. Not going to be able to take full advantage of it. That's too bad. Probably not. Oh no, each one of the... Okay, wow. Yeah, I'm going to be able to do quite a bit with her on her next turn. But first, the Nemesis. Pulling one off. And this time, oh, it's our old friend, the Devil's Pact. Alright, so here's the thing, right? So, I think all things being equal, I would happily discard the 3 most expensive prep spells. I don't even have minions to just 1 damage over here. However, I would then have to cross that out, and then from then on, Devil's Pact is going to be the Unleash twice, which I feel like I can handle now, but that's the kind of thing, you never know where you're going to be at in the game. I'm also at a position where losing 3 charges does not really hurt me that much, so at least for the moment. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do... So I'm doing this so I can cross out the bottom option. So that the one that I feel like is the least bad is the one that remains. So that's what I'm going to do for Devil's Pact. I lose all my charges. I do have to unleash twice. So we have a gem guy, which we'll put there. And that's the turn order deck. And then we've got a Relic Fetter, which I think I was thinking about getting a Summoner's Horn. I'm pretty good with the batteries, especially what I'm going to be doing on my next turn. So we'll cover that up. That's going to be the Nemesis turn. And then we're going to have to see whether or not we get a chance to take this out. If Razra goes, we're good. Otherwise, c'est la vie. So let's get everything mixed up, well shuffled, get this out. I feel like I'm on the cusp of having everyone where I want them to be. We're not quite there, but I'm starting to move a little better. Hopefully I don't regret this choice of letting these all out. I mean, I would have been giving up 4 damage, which effectively takes out one of them. So I feel like... Well, we'll see. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, that is going to be... It's going to be Arachnos. So at a minimum, we're going to be able to get rid of something and get a few things going. All right, so again, I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to, so I can start getting some charges. I'm going to deal 1 damage here. I was thinking I might throw all 4 damage here, but it should be okay. I'll then throw that 2 damage coming off this guy. Yeah, I don't mind if that pile gets blown up. I think I was only going to buy 1 more of those and wasn't planning on doing it this turn. So then, oh, that's actually 1 extra damage. So that was actually 3 damage. So, all right. So 3 damage goes there. That being the case, I could just take this out. This only unleashes once, though another card. Who knows? I think that's okay. I'm also going to heal Gravehold for this. Let's prep a Douse, prep a Spark. I mean, Douse. Yeah, let's do that way. And then I'll spend 4 to get myself another Douse. And we'll just kind of keep those going. Oh, I do gain a charge because I kept this out. So that looks like that. And then we will draw our hand. Okay. That does it for Arachnos. Next up is going to be the Nemesis. Unfortunately, we did not get rid of that in time. All right. Unleash. Gravehold suffers 3 damage, and we get a fire token. Ouch. We are now up to 7 fire tokens. The Unleash effect is going to be a Spell Fetter, so I don't want to risk anything with those Douses, so let's leave those available. That's it for the Immolation, and then we do have to reveal card. Well, that just blew up all at once, didn't it? All right, Unleash twice. We have Spell Fetter. We're covering the Douse. That was pretty rough. A Relic Fetter. I guess we'll cover that one. Keep the Summoner's Horn open. Okay. So that's Unleashed twice. Gravehold suffers 5 damage, going down to 11. And then if there are 4 or less fire tokens on your location on the map, add 2 fire tokens. Well, at least we don't have to do that. So, you know, it's the little things, I guess. All right, so that was the Nemesis. There's still another one lurking in there. Let's see. Next up is the Wild, which is going to be Desmodia. Unfortunately, Desmodia can't take any of these out, but Desmodia can get moving. We got 2 crystals. So we'll just buy charge. All right, so I've got both my specials and the galvanize. So the way this is going to work out, right, is each one of these lets you prep an additional spell to the reach. So when I have 2 of these here, normally it's I can prep 2. Now I can prep 4. So I'll also get the galvanize. And last but not least, I will go ahead and conjure, which is just going to be this crystal. So now we've got a whole ton of possibilities out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is a big buying hand, which maybe we'll be able to get a summoner horn. But again, who knows what mayhem is going to happen between now and then. Well, about to find out for the Nemesis. All right. Oof. Okay. So we've got a Soul Rend. We have to spend 9 to discard Power 2, unleash 3 times, and add 2 fire tokens. That's terrible. Or unleash twice. The player with the lowest life suffers 1 damage. Their mage becomes severed. And cross out this sentence. Ooh. Don't love any of that. All right, well, we're going to have to see how things work around. Maybe we have a little bit of time. Maybe we'll be able to work around it. Can I get somebody up to 9? I might be able to. It's only 2 power tokens on here. That is really rough. And that's not even a boss special. That's just upgraded. It's level 2 basic. My upgraded level 2 basic. My God. Okay. Here we go. I would have preferred maybe if Azer had gone first, but Desmodia has gone first. So I gotta, and then last up is going to be Razra. So, all right, I got to take all this in. I got to think about how I might be able to deal with this. So we'll be right back. All right, so well, let's start with damage. I'm not going to be able to get to 9 this round. I can get Razra. Well, let's see. Here's what we're going to do. I mean, this was the easy one, right? So first we'll cast the Devouring. We'll cast the Invigorating Void Spark. So this is going to deal 1 damage. So we'll just go ahead and take this guy out. Actually, not necessarily. We'll just keep track, but that's 1 damage, which we'll set aside here for now. And then any ally draws a card for each other spell. So that's going to be 3 cards, which you would think might be enough, but it's not. So 1, 2, 3. So we got all sorts of stuff in here, but the most we can bruise is 3, 5, 6, 7. But I might be able to set that up moving forward. Next up, we'll go ahead and do the Devouring Void Spark, which is going to deal 3 damage, and then these 2, it's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7. So I think we want to keep these all together. Yeah. So 7 plus 1. So I can actually do 4 and 4. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Is just although I do want to clear this off. So, yeah, we'll do 1 to there. We'll do 4 to here. And then, because of what else I have planned, I'm then going to do 3 to here. So that takes care of all that damage. Gravehold gains 4 life, so that's good. Then I'm going to use the Shifter's Cloak to focus this breach, and I can then cast a spell. I'm going to cast the Dows, and I think I have to burn it to get rid of one of these fire tokens. It is going to do +1 damage, so that's 4 damage, which will allow me to take out this fetter. So, very productive turn. And I haven't even bought anything yet. I have 5, so I'm not even done yet, because I also have, you may place the next relic you gain this turn into your hand. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get a Summoner's Horn, I'm going to put it in my hand, and I'm going to play it. Any player may prep a spell in their discard pile to their open or closed breaches. So, you know what? I'm not going to get rid of the fire token yet. I'm just going to backtrack that. I'll let that go to the discard pile. Then we'll allow them to prep it from their discard pile. The alternative, I suppose, is I could prep... no, even better. All right, so we will get rid of the fire token. Any player, I can do it to myself. So I will prep the Galvanize to here. When prepped, once during your main phase, you may conjure. So I will go ahead and conjure another Galvanize. All right, so maybe I didn't plan that out perfectly. But let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what do we want to go with there? At that point, yeah, I think the Galvanizes will be in a position to get into the discard pile. So let's get the Summoner's Horn there, followed by if this potentially galvanizing, so let's throw a crystal and then a Shifter's Cloak and all this stuff. So it's going to let me draw 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. No, this is not actually a Galvanized. Yeah. So that's it for Desmodia. I've kind of figured out my order. And that is going to bring us to Razra, who cannot get the 9 this turn, but I think we could, by holding on to these, potentially set her up to do it next turn. There's a lot to figure out here, so I'm going to work through it and then off camera. All right, a little risky, but I think this is a situation, get me an extra charge, where it would be helpful to know who's going next. So for Razra, I'm going to, before I do anything else, I'm going to play the Irradiated Jewel. So we need to shuffle up to look at the top card to see if it's a Nemesis card or if we have to overheat. Be great if we saw Razra here, because that's who we want to go next. But, all right. 1, it's wild. I'm going to have to look up. So when the wild is drawn, I guess that refers to the wild player. So I guess, well, no, it's a player card either way. So, right, doesn't matter. So yeah, I do have to overheat this jewel once, which is a little risky given what I'm going to do on the next turn. But what can you do? But 3, 5, 6 is going to allow me to get 3 charges. I do not want to buy anything this turn because I need this jewel. I'm sitting on... I know everything in my deck, so I'm sitting on 6 here in production, which with 4 cards, I'm going to be able to draw 1 more. So I draw this, which can produce 3. That gets me to 9 if Razra manages to go before the Nemesis goes twice. Don't really have any control over that. We'll just have to see how it goes. But, so I spent 6 for the charges. I will go ahead and prep a Spark. I will use Rip Fetch. So focus your closed breach with the lowest focus cost. You may destroy a card in hand. I will get rid of this crystal. So that takes care of that. I can now prep my other Spark here. Finally, we have Rip Eat. Any ally gains 2 charges and may destroy a card in hand. This is a good time for me to let Desmodia get rid of one of her crystals. So that's everything there. Very important that that goes down next, so that I can have the 9 to hopefully deal with that. And then it doesn't really matter. We'll just throw everything there. So yeah, there's the 4. And there's a potential this overheats and hits Gravehold, but I'm only going to really need the 9 if 2 people have gone before the Nemesis. So I guess the Nemesis could go the first time. All right. Either way, that's it for Razra's turn. We do know that Arachnos is going. Too bad the wild wasn't over there. But alas. All right, so let's go ahead and spark this with the first hit for 2, and then the other hit for 1 over here. So, right, +1 from that breach. We do heal Gravehold 1. Then I'm just gonna fire off the Gossamer Web, probably. Although we can gain another charge. All right, we'll keep it out there because it's not going to kill anything yet. And either of these could take that out. So we'll just prep the spark over here. Yeah, I'll spend 4 to get another douse. That's going to get me a charge. And that is Arachnos' turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that's going to be my next hand, which is, we'll just keep buying and spending the douses, I guess. Okay, yeah, at some point with 3 open breaches, I might want to grab a Galvanize here, but let's deal with those fire tokens. In the meantime, it is the Nemesis. Okay. All right, so what do we got? Grasp. This is interesting. Draw a card L2E21 and play it. Destroy an uncovered supply pile. Any player suffers 2 damage. All right, so I'll fetch that card and we'll see what we're facing. All right, so there's the Grasp, and here is the card we drew. It is the Voracious Spell Fetter. When this is discarded, we're going to read a section. Immediately place this on top of the most expensive uncovered spell supply pile. If you cannot discard this in Gravehold, suffers 4 damage. So we're going to put it on top of, I want to, Desdemodia is going to be buying a Galvanize. I might get a Galvanize over here. Hopefully I can clear this out pretty fast. Destroy an uncovered supply pile. We'll go ahead and get rid of the Shifter's Cloak, which I've had my fill of. Okay, any player suffers 2 damage. And reading this, I was like, I didn't quite have, I forgot at one point Desdemodia had to discard and take 2 damage. So, and then somewhere I missed a damage, another couple damage, or 1 damage that would have gone to Razra, because wanted to get somebody down to 3 in case I want to use that ability. So then I'll just do 2 damage over here to Arachnos. And that's going to be it for the Nemesis turn. So let's get health out on this thing. A little bit bigger. It's got 7 health. Hopefully we can take that Voracious Spell Eater out as quickly as possible. Hopefully he didn't eat the spells in the deck. That would be tragic. Certainly possible. I was thinking maybe I should put it here, but let's just go ahead and go with that. All right. It's Arachnos at this point. Even though I could get rid of this, we got to focus on this guy. So I will, at this point, cast all my spells. 1, 2, 3. Gonna knock that guy down to 4. Gravehold gains a health. Then we're going to be able to... let's prep a Spark here. Let's prep a Douse. You know what? Yeah, actually, I think I was going to do the charge thing and conjure, but instead of that, I have an opportunity. I feel like I need to get a Galvanize over here while I can. So let me grab one of those, and then I'll discard these like these. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are all coming together. Which means these 2 will go into the discard pile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I Galvanize, at that point, yeah, the top card would be a crystal. So I think that works out the way we want it. All right, so that is Arachnos. All right, what do we got here? We got 3 cards. All right, so we need Razra before the minion. Still like a 50-50 on whether or not that happens. Not Razra. It is 50-50 for sure. I mean, it was anyway, but... All right. Well, conveniently, we have 4 damage, so we can take this thing out. We'll just cast both of our galvanizes. That's going to heal Gravehold for 2. And this guy takes 4 damage, is dead, and hopefully nothing bad happens as a result. I feel like we killed him. It should be something good, right? We're going to read section 46 of the narrative book. All right, here we go. The fetter curls in on itself as it withers like a flower, shriveling up in the sun. It must have been powerful because the release of its magic spreads through the swarming fetters like a ripple on a pond. For a moment, they loosen their grip, and you have time to recover. If this was discarded during any player's turn, which it was, Gravehold gains 3 life. All right, well, certainly not going to complain about that. Gravehold is up to 22. Now we have the potential for... I mean, I could get these back. Can I maximize it? I'm thinking about when I want to fire off Desmodia's ability. So let me think for a sec. All right. So I'm thinking about getting Desmodia's ability ready. But Razra's got a good potential of going... He's going to go twice next round. Has a good chance of going before Desmodia. And getting the ability to give her 2 charges. So I think what's more important to get established is to get this open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Shifter's Cloak. It doesn't really matter what order I do it. So to rotate that, it's going to allow me to cast a spell. So I'll just go ahead and cast a Spark, which is going to do 1 extra damage. So that's going to take out the last of these guys in play for now. And then I've got 4, and I don't need the damage right now. I'm just going to overspend. I could get 2 charges, but I think what I want to do is just to make sure, because this ability only works to open breaches. So let's get this open. So I have the potential to do some wacky stuff. And then in terms of how I want to do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These galvanizes. I think we want crystals to be... I don't even know if that'll work. So I don't even know that it matters. So we'll do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Interesting. Okay. Moment of truth. Razra or the Nemesis? Razra or the Nemesis? All right. So already starting to think about, are we going to sever Razra so she can join her pal? I may have gone that route, but that is not a problem that we have to worry about right now. We have other potential problems. First and foremost, let's go ahead, cast a Spark. Just 1 damage. Hey, look at that. We did 1 damage to the boss. We have started the process. And that's fine. Because we've geared up to be able to do a lot of damage. We got a couple +1 breaches open. All right, that's 2, 3, 4. That's our special one, fully boosted. 5, 6, 7, 8. Look at that. Boy, that could not have worked out any better. I do need to reveal the top order of the turn order deck. It is a Nemesis. This does not overheat. That only happens if it's a player. There's 9. Just in the nick of time, we managed to take out the Soul Rend. So we have successfully dealt with that. All right. I'm going to figure out the discard, and then we'll take a look at what the Nemesis is going to draw on their turn. Okay, so gone ahead and drew my hand, drew the Nemesis card, and we revealed the Killing Embrace. Immediately unleashed twice. So we have a Gem Fetter, which again we'll put over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we also have another Gem Fetter. So that's all right. So that made that easy. No real choice to be made there. And this is a power card with power 2. When it goes off, Gravehold suffers 2 damage and additional damage equal to the number of fetters in play. Can't do anything about it, but honestly, it's really not that bad. I think we're out healing Gravehold to the damage it's being dealt at this point now. Thanks to the strength of these incredibly good Brimstone batteries. I mean, geez. Attach the standing player's breach. When a spell is cast from this breach, if this card is fully boosted, Gravehold gains 1 life. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's a little broken with the Desdemodia being able to cast 4 things. But hey, it is what it is, and we've got this. That was it for the Nemesis. So we move on to round 8. And now I'm feeling good. Again, there's a little bit more I want to do to get people set up. But a little bit more deck thinning. I still haven't gotten a Summoner's Horn over here, which would be nice. Just to kind of increase the charge potential, though I've done a pretty good job of producing charges. That boosted spark has helped. Okay, got our turn order deck. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Revealing. Okay, 3 is Desdemodia. I don't think I made that mistake this game, but who knows. That's unfortunate because I was going to do a whole ton of stuff, which, yeah, I can still set myself up next turn. I don't have to cast these. So that's going to be interesting. I may split those up. All right, let me think this over. Honestly, she's just so good that I don't even need necessarily to use her ability. I mean, we'll get there. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to prep both of these over here. We're going to use the Summoner's Horn. Any player may prep a spell in their discard pile to their opened or closed breaches. Actually, yeah, I'll put the Galvanize here. I mean, I could do the +1 damage on cast over here. Yeah, it's... But then I don't heal Gravehold. Yeah, it's not as... So the +1 damage is nice, but the boosting of the other abilities I think is even better. And then I'll go ahead... this is probably something good, but we'll prep it anyway. No, it's just a crystal, so that's nice. All right, so all 4 of those are going on there. That's the Summoner's Horn with 2 crystals. We'll just buy at charge. And we'll put the horn there. Next turn I can discard a card to gain another charge, so that's nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're well set up with the Galvanize. So that's going to do it for Desdemodia. All right, now Rosra goes. Couldn't have flipped the order, but still pretty good. All right, once again, I got a lot of options here. I can do an upgrade, so right back. All right, I love this, and I didn't get up to the 9s with Rip last time. First I thought, I looked at one is better than the other. I looked at Rip Guard, gain 2 life, allies collectively gain 3 charges. That's super cool. Better than giving 2 charges. Or suffer 2 damage, place a power from the Nemesis deck that is in play into the discard pile. So I just take 2 damage, get rid of this. I was like, wow, yeah, I'm going to take that. And then I looked at the other 9. Rip Patrol. Gain a spell from the supply and place it into your hand. Okay, that's very good. Discard a fire token from your location. No-brainer. So we're going to get that. We're going to send 4 charges. Rip Eat, the level 6, is going to go away. We're going to get Rip Patrol, level 9, into our hand. We'll go ahead and play that. Figure out which spell I'm going to gain. We also have Rip Fetch, where I'm going to be able to focus my lowest closed breach. So that's going to be this one probably. Yeah, and then I can destroy a card in hand, so I think at this point, and still gaining a spell. So I'm going to gain a douse and get rid of a fire token. And I'm actually going to destroy this crystal, the one that lets me focus, which is great, but I've done all the, or boosting, sorry, but I've done all the boosting that I need to do this game. So then I am going to prep the douse, prep the spark, use this just to gain another charge, keep the rip stuff going. So, I mean, I'll put the patrol right there. Probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. Like the way that was looking. And next up, we're looking at a Nemesis run. Okay, so Arachnos. We've got... So we'll... which one of these do we want to take out? Yeah, let's get that available. So we will start with a douse for 3 over here. I'm sitting on another douse. I'm ability to buy another. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I feel like I'm in a good position spell-wise, so we'll do that. And then I'm going to spark. I'll hit that. From the +1, I'll hit this first, and then the extra damage will just go here. So, pretty sure I've been doing that right. The +1 only affects the cast ability. This is just like a bonus ability. That's going to heal Gravehold for 1 as we cast off there. Then drop a nice big douse over there. And then with 4, I don't want to buy the last douse just yet. So running, I'll buy the second to last Galvanize. All right, so just figure out 4, 5. If I Galvanize, it's going to be a crystal. And then it would be my double spark if I want to conjure, so we'll see. But that does it for Arachnos. Nemesis? Yes, Nemesis. Okay. And it's our old enemy, the Chitin Killer, heretofore named the Thraxier Slayer or Severer. So, hey, look at that. We have a minion in play. A minion that I can silence the hell out of if I get the opportunity to go. Now, life totals are pretty good. Arachno has the ability to heal. So this, I'm not actually as worried about this. In fact, I may ignore this guy and focus on the boss. But we'll see how it goes. Next up, it is the Nemesis. I mean, we weren't going to be able to stop this anyway. So, Gravehold suffers 2 damage, and then additional damage for everyone in play. So, yeah, that's just really not that bad. Gravehold suffers 3 damage. As those go, that was not bad at all. Hey, look, it's another power card. To discard, spend 8. Unleash twice. The player with the lowest life suffers 4, and another risk of severance. And not the kind that you do to separate your work life for your home life. All right, 8 power tokens. I know, 2 power tokens, but 8 depend. I wonder if, I don't think there's any way I could get that other 9 in my hand that fast. We don't even have, yeah, it's going to take a bit, unfortunately. But that is... Oh, and this guy kicks off, so... it's the first time this... Oh, no, there were persistent effects early in the game. It's been a while. The player with the most prep spells, that's going to be Desmodia. So let's That's probably always going to be the case. So let's get her some protection. So, all right, it is wild. It is Razra's turn. It's going to pass over here. I'll think through the damage and all that, but before I even forget it, I'm going to silence that minion. All right, there's so much interesting stuff I could do here. I actually can generate 8. All that interesting stuff aside, I think I'm just going to deal with this. I'm going to douse... I'm going to douse this guy for 3. Even though I said I didn't have to kill this guy, I'm usually able to throw out a lot of damage at the end. I feel like I'll be able to get the boss down. And maybe I'll change tack. But for now, let's do that. We'll go ahead. I might as well spark him for 1, 2, because this thing's got 2 health, and I got a bunch of things that can deal 2 damage. I also have a thing that can deal 1 damage. So you know what? I will just do 1 damage to here. We'll prep a spark, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend the 8. I might lose the irradiated jewel here, but I feel like that's a risk worth taking at this point, just to get rid of that. So that's going to be gone. All right, so if it's a player card, then I'm losing my irradiated jewel. And I'm going to want to try and pick up another one of those. So as is, top card is a player card. So unfortunately, I have burnt out this card. It did a lot of good work for me. It's gone now. And I'll just discard these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. Gravehold takes 3 damage. Down to 17. Okay, well, we know Desmodia is going crazy. So, let's first draw Razra's hand. 2, 3, 4, 5. And yeah, I actually have to figure out, somebody's going to be drawing a bunch of cards, so let me figure that out. All right, there's a lot I can do here. So let's start things off with Invigorating Void Spark. So this is going to deal 1 damage, which is going to take this guy out. And then we'll have Razra draw 3 cards. That's going to, we're going to cast all 4. So Gravehold is going to go back to 21. 1, 2, 3. Then we'll do the Devouring Void Spark. So that's going to do a total of 3 damage to this guy, knocking him down to 7. Then the Galvanize and the Crystal for 4 more damage, knocking him down to 3. And then, all right, let's figure out this side of it, because I'm going to be able to do some unholiness over here. Okay, so let's go ahead, start off with a Shifter's Cloak, work on this +1 damage breach. That's going to allow me to cast a spell. I'll cast the Douse. I'll just let it go to the discard pile. It's 4 damage. It's overkill, but take that thing out. Didn't even need to silence it. We just blew it away. I am glad not to have to deal with that guy anymore and worry about it. I really do. And very soon we'll focus on the boss. Then what I'm going to do, so that's the Shifter's Cloak. I'm going to spend 2 to get my last charge. I'm going to spend those 5 charges, return up to 2 spells from your discard pile to your hand, so we'll get our 2 specials. You may prep 2 additional spells to each of your open breaches this turn. So I'm pretty sure this works, that I can go, this is crazy. We'll do 1 here, 1 here. So normally, 2 extra spells. This would be 1, 2. Just as it stands right now, it would be 3. So this is going to be 5. This would normally be 2, but it's going to be 4. So I can do 5 here and 4 here. And then we will conjure. And we'll just throw it over here. And then, I guess if it's galvanized, I could put them all here if I wanted. So yeah, so I can galvanize, and then I can prep another one. Yeah, so basically I'm going to be able to put 5 spells out, so I might want to make things even a little bit more wacky. Yeah, you know what is, I'm just going to, Gravehold's at 21 life. It's in pretty good shape. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to be putting 4 over here. They're all going to deal +1 damage. Because, yeah, normally it holds 1. The ability, it can hold 3. These make it hold 2 extra. 5, I can actually put them all here. So, I'll go ahead and do that. So that was that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And by the way, both crystals. So that was pretty optimal as well. Got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A galvanized followed by a crystal. I don't need the shifter's cloak for sure. So I'll do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. That was effective, but just wait until next turn. Nemesis. All right, what do you got for us, Nemesis? Another minion you're trying to distract us with. Gravehold and any player each suffer 2 damage, add a fire token. Well, we don't like that. So, I don't know. It's got 2 shields, though. I may just be focusing on the boss, try and silence this a couple times. We'll have to see. All right, Razra. I got a lot of stuff going on here, so I mean, we'll start with the spark. Since it's just 1 damage, might as well pop a shield. Give ourselves the option of taking that out. I gain a charge for that, and now I gotta wade through this giant hand. All right, it also occurs to me that, right, I can upgrade the Rip 9 to the other Rip 9 if I want at some point, but we're not there yet. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend 2, get another charge. I'm going to spend these 4, and Rip Fetch is going to get upgraded to Rip Protect, which is an ally draws 2 cards, silence a minion. So for now, we'll go ahead and we'll play Rip Protect, and we'll throw a silence on this guy. And then for the ally drawing 2 cards, it's going to be Desmodia. Which does mean I'm going to probably lose my Starglass, but that's okay. So those are played. I will go ahead and play a Douse. 3 is just enough for me to focus this breach. I'll play a Spark. And then Rip Patrol, gain a spell from the supply and place it into your hand. So I will gain the last Douse. It occurs to me, yeah, I can run these supply piles out. Again, if I draw one of the spell fetters, Gravehold takes 2 damage. I mean, that's, it is what it is. It's not awful. So I'll throw that there. And then discard a fire token. So we're up to 7. Now we're down to 3. We're making good headway there. And it's just a question. 1, 2. Definitely want these guys back. Definitely want to grab one of these. And then we'll keep a crystal on top just in case I end up galvanizing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Yep. So there you go. That's Razra. It is the wild, which means Desmodia is going to go. All right. So I feel like to this point, right, our foe, the giant Griefweaver, has been, you know, causing grief, wreaking havoc with our supply piles. But Griefweaver is about to see what another mage who came back from the void is capable of. All right, so we're going to start with Devouring Void Spark. Cast, deal 1 damage, 2 damage, deal an additional damage equal to the number of other spells prepped to this breach. 4 other spells. So that's 2 plus 4, that's 6. Boss is going from 59 to 53. Next, the Invigorating Void Spark, deal 1 damage. Any ally draws cards equal to the remaining, so there's 3. So that's 1 damage. Plus 1 knocks down to 51. We're going to have Razra draw 3 cards, and Razra has no deck and discard pile at the moment. Then we're going to, I guess then we'll cast the Galvanize, which is going to do 3 damage, down to 48. Another 3 damage, another 3 damage, so it's from 48 down to 42. So yeah, there's a nice 17 damage. That's a good start. And that was just the cast phase. In terms of casting, so I think at this point, let's just keep the pressure on the damage. We will Galvanize, and we'll go ahead. Actually, before even we do that, we will use the Summoner's Horn. Any player may prep a spell in their discard pile to their opened or closed breaches. So we'll just keep going with the extra damage or the extra ally. The extra card lets us do a lot. So we'll do the Void Spark. Then we will Galvanize. And we will, since we can still prep, it is going to be our Starglass, but we'll put that there. And I guess that's the limit. We can only, if we want to put a 4th. I still think it's more important to draw. So, because we also have a Starglass. So let's see. We can conjure. Yeah, we'll. It's going to be buy card. We'll conjure to there. Got 3 to spend. Haven't even done the Shifter's Cloak yet. I think with the 3, I don't really want to muddy up my deck with anything else that isn't a spell at this point, so we'll just get a charge. And then finally, we'll do the Shifter's Cloak, which is going to focus. Actually, let's focus this. And at that point, we can also cast a spell. We'll go ahead and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go ahead and cast the Dows over here, which is going to do 3 plus 1 is 4, so 38. And I am actually going to pitch that to get rid of a fire token. So I feel like we have a good handle on our damage now. And that's going to be it for Desmodia's turn. All right, next up in the turn order is the Nemesis. So we will pull off the Silence token. And we will draw... Ooh, another minion, the Hand of Agony. Take a look at that one. If there are 4 or more uncovered supply piles, destroy an uncovered supply pile, otherwise unleash and Gravehold suffers 2 damage. Well, that guy's got 9, so he is one we might just want to blow out of the water. Don't really like that ability. Last but not least, we move over to Arachnos, who doesn't have anything to cast right now, but certainly a lot of stuff to put into place. Let's figure that out. All right, so I'm realizing I probably should have focused this before work towards getting this open, but we'll do the Gossamer Web. We will galvanize, and while prepped, once during your main phase, you can conjure. So we'll go ahead and we'll conjure onto the breach, meaning the spark's just going to sit in our hand for now. And then I've got 3 to spend, so I actually am going to get another one of these, build up so I can get some better production going. Then I will go ahead and use my silence token on this guy in case Desmodia doesn't get to go first. So those will go there, and have to hold on to the spark. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that is the end of round 9. So we are getting down to it. Head into round 10. All right. Oh, I did buy a thing, so I gain a charge. That was the other thinking there. Desmodia is actually in a bit of danger zone from this thing. All right, maybe I should have taken that out when I had the chance. It's just so eager to do all that damage to the boss. But, all right. 1. Oh, at least we get to do something before the Nemesis goes. All right, let's see. All right, let's start with sparking the shield, because I may just want to deal with that. And then using dows, we definitely want to deal with this. So that's 3 damage there. I'm going to hold on to the dows for now, because I need to be able to do some damage output over here. Plus, I think Rip can take care of the rest of it. So, all right, I got a bunch of stuff. I'm going to figure out how to spend this. Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with these 2 for now. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 3 to focus this breach. So then that's going to allow me to, we'll drop a spark. So that's that 3 spent. An ally draws 2 cards. We're going to do it over here. All right, 2 more crystals, but that's good. I don't like Desmodia being at 5 life and potentially down to 2. But this is going to silence a minion, so we'll drop a silence over here. So that does it for these. We're going to gain a spell, so we will gain the last available spell. Place it into your hand. So we can then prep that. Because I focused this breach, I can go ahead and now I can go ahead and put a spell up there with Conjure. I get to discard a fire token. All right, last but not least, I got 5 left. I got 5 here. So I'm going to go ahead and get a Summoner's Horn. Any player may prep a spell into their discard pile to their opened or closed breaches. So I've got it here. A Douse is going to get prepped up here. So I'll really ramp up the damage, keep it going out, and then just have to discard all this, figure that out, and then we'll see who's going to go next. All right, a lot there to figure out in terms of order, but I think I'm happy with it. I realize I'm getting to draw back a bunch of stuff, so I decided to split up the rips. I got to build up some charges before I repurpose the 9 guy. Make sure I want to be able to keep silencing minions for now until I can fully deal with these guys. although they could be dead pretty soon. So, but that's Razra. It is the Nemesis, so these both come off. The card is going to be Revive. Unleash twice. Place the most recently discarded minion in the Nemesis discard pile into play. Ugh, that is annoying. So the Chitin Killer is coming back out, and I think if the Nemesis goes next, then Desmodia is in for a world of trouble. Oh no, I actually got 4 over here, so we can split the damage. All right, well, and we have to unleash twice. So first one is a Spell Eater. There is none, so discard this in Gravehold. Suffers 2 damage. So, all right, that's a thing that happens. And then we need to reshuffle the deck so that we can draw the next one. All right, I mean, we were in good position, and we kind of thought we could rely on silences to deal with the minions, and that is not looking like it's going to work out. So, all right, we have another Spell Eater. I mean, this could be a problem, actually. We might have gone a little overboard here. That's the Nemesis turn. All right. There's a lot going on. I'm going to drop a card here so I don't forget. I'm not quite sure where... I got confused a bit over dealing damage. I was just thinking of the Chitin Killer. So let's work our way through it. Persistent Gravehold and any play each suffer 2 damage, add a fire token. So that's not as terrible now that we've gotten rid of most of these. But Gravehold is taking 2 more damage. The player is going to be Razra. Now, the Hand of Agony, if there are 4 more uncovered supply piles, which there are, we have to destroy one. At this point, I'll just get rid of this. We're not going to buy this anyway. And we are down to it. We only have 3 piles left. Yeah, Gravehold's going to start taking a lot of damage. So I think it would behoove me to get a battery on one of these over here if I can make that work. Last but not least, the player with the most prep spells suffers 3 damage. So that is going... So it is 4 spells each. So fortunately... we can do it there. Everybody's at 5 life. And that is going to do it for that. Then, oh my god, it's another minion. Here, let's have a look. At the Careless Observer. Gravehold suffers 3 damage. Add fire tokens to your location on the map equal to the number of shield tokens on this minion. Yeah, remember what we said about holding on to those silences? Okay, so... there is a lot of ugliness out here, and the boss is at 38, so I'm going to have to make some tactical decisions on how fast I think... I mean, there's well, it should not be 11, this should be 9. But there's a lot of damage out here. A lot of stuff out here that we'd have to take out. That we would not be dealing to the boss. All right, good news. We got 3 more turns before we redraw. So Arachnos is going to kick off, and now I definitely have to think about what approach I want to take to this game at this point. There's a bunch of ways I can go with this, but one of the things I do know, right, is that all that's left is 3 in the wild. So there's a lot of damage. Arachnos is going to get to go twice. Desmodia is going to get to go. We're going to be able to pour out a lot of damage. Not enough to kill the boss, although not that far off. But I do want to deal with some of this stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clear this out. So I know that I'm going to draw these 3, and I want the Gossamer Web and probably the Galvanize. So those are the orders. We'll cast them. So we'll start with the Gossamer Web. So that is going to deal 1 damage. We're going to take out one of these shields. Then with the Galvanize, that's going to deal 2 damage. So I don't like the idea of fire tokens, so we're gonna, and we've already started working on this one, so we might as well finish him off. Get him down to 3, which this is gonna deal 3 damage. We'll do that next, because we're gonna draw these 5 cards, and then we can galvanize that. So that's 3 damage. That's gonna take that guy out. So he's gone. All right. Then, now in terms of the effects here, this is just going to unleash, and Gravehold suffers 3 damage, which is not terrible. The player with the most spells suffers 3 damage. That is concerning. This is just Gravehold suffers 3 damage once I get rid of the shields, which I will. All right, so it's really a question of which one of these things I want to take out. They're all concerning. I'm probably more concerned with Gravehold getting whacked down since unleashes, and I definitely don't want things unleashing. So we're going to do 3 damage to this with the dows. We're going to hang on to the dows for now. We just need lots of damage. So that's going to take care of that. Then we're going to go ahead, prep a spark. I'll take out both the shields on their next turn. So then we'll put the galvanize here, this here. Again, to make sure we can keep the damage going, we're going to spend 4 to focus that breach. We're going to use galvanize, which, oh, maybe not. No, we want to draw these 5. So I think instead of galvanizing, I will spend these 4 to get a couple charges. And I'll hold off on deciding who I'm going to give life back to. I don't have to, we're going to get to go again. So I'll just sit on those charges for now. Okay. So that was Arachnos' turn. Pretty effective. So then it is going to be Desmodia's turn. And again, we're porting out a bunch of damage and getting set up. So I'll figure it out. All right. So here's the way we're going to do this. First, we're going to start with the Invigorating Void Spark, which is going to do 1 + 1 is 2 damage. We'll do it over here. And actually, we'll do it over here. And then, so that's going to be 2 damage, and somebody gets to draw 2 cards, or yeah, somebody gets to draw 2 cards. It's going to be over here. All right, then we'll go ahead and we'll cast the Galvanize, which is going to hit this for 3. And we'll cast these for 2 and 3. We'll do this one first for 3 over here. This one for 2 over here. And then that is going to give Gravehold 1 life, up to 16. This guy is dead. All right, then on to here. Go ahead and do a Shifter's Cloak to open up this breach. So that's doing some more damage. And then we can cast a spell. So we'll go ahead and cast this, which is going to do... That was 1, 2 + 1 is 3 damage. So again, we'll continue just bringing this guy down. So that takes care of that for the Shifter's Cloak. Then we can go ahead, and I think dealing more damage is still more important than Gravehold's life. Probably. Gravehold's at 16, but we're gonna be dealing with these. So, although it does buy me some time, you know what? I'm going to go ahead, prep both of these here. I'm going to galvanize. It's just a crystal. We'll put it over here. And then I'll spend 2 to gain another charge. So, yeah, you know what? I'm not even sure I could have put an extra one here. I think it probably should have been over here, but I don't think it would have made that big a difference. That's just a mistake that we will live with. All right. At this point, Shifter's Cloak more valuable than those. And the only question is, right, do I want to silence one of these? This guy's just hitting Gravehold for damage. This guy, am I going to be able to kill him? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But then I'm not taking the shields off. All right. Well, let's see. Yeah, I think since I'm not quite going to be able to kill this guy, because I want to use my spark to do these shields, I am going to drop down my last silence token on that guy, and this guy, I'll at least be able to get rid of these. So that's going to do it for pretty crazy Desmodia turn. They all seem pretty crazy at this point. Last but not least, the Wild, which is Arachnos. So we've got our Spark, which is going to take out the shields. The Galvanize will deal 2 damage. We'll knock this guy down from 5 to, or from 6 down to 4. Then we've just got a Spark, which is going to do 1 extra, so we'll do 2 damage. So pretty well set up to... I guess I am going to deal with these minions. I wasn't sure. It's just a weird rush of all these other things, and all of a sudden 4 minions come out. Hopefully we don't regret not going after the boss. Still got plenty of cards in the deck. That was that. Now I got a lot of stuff. Maybe I shouldn't be this worried about this guy dealing 3. I forgot I had the ability to gain life. But all right, let's see. I did cast off here, so Gravehold's going to gain a life. I might have missed one of those earlier, but not going to worry about it. All right, so I was thinking about getting a Gossamer Horn, but which is really good. But I think I just want to keep trying to get out as much damage as I can here. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, and we'll actually drop the Dows over here in case we need to pop 4 damage on if one of these guys comes out. We will spend 5. I will go ahead and give... Ragnos is going to have a bunch. So give him 3 more life. I will spend 4 to focus this breach so that I can then galvanize. It's just a crystal. Leaving me with 2, so I will... Yeah, I'll just go ahead and spend it to get a charge. The other option is I could just keep it in my hand, but now let's keep everything moving. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So that does it for that, and that is the end of round number 10. Okay. Alright, I got these minions a bit more manageable. The boss is still sitting at 38, but we'll have another big damage burst coming. 1, 2. Leading things off, it is going to be Desmodia. Alright, so. Alright, we're getting there. We'll start with the Devouring Void Spark. So that's going to deal 1 plus 2 more is 3. So we'll do that over here. Then we'll do the Galvanize, which is going to take out... We'll do it over here. I don't think it really matters. And then we'll just do that. So this guy's dead. That was a fortunate first draw for the round. All right, because then we did heal Gravehold for 3 there. So yeah, I don't think I had to worry too much about Gravehold. It's back up to 20. I mean, because now we've got a Shifter's Cloak. So we can go ahead and open this. So that's a +1 damage. This guy's just got 2 life. They're going to get a +1. Do I steal a charge from Rip? Yeah, sure, why not? So we'll cast the Spark for 2. That's going to let me get a charge. That's going to kill this. So, didn't need the silence token. I think that's the second time that's happened, but better safe than dead. Or at least damaged. So that was the Shifter's Cloak. Then we're going to go ahead and these two get our 4th charge. We could get up to 5 charges, and I've got the Summoner's Horn, or I could wait till next turn, but then I won't have everything in my discard pile. So, alright, I'm going to think this over for a sec. Yeah, at this point, I think I'm just going to go for broke and just pour out as much damage as I can. So I'll go ahead and do this to get another charge. I'm going to use the Summoner's Horn to get back the Devouring Void Spark, prep it here. Then I'm going to spend all 5, return up to 2 spells from your discard pile to your hand. We'll get an Invigorating Void Spark, plus we'll grab the Galvanize up top so that this one can come back around. And then I will use that to conjure. So now we've got 4 spells piled on here. Again, normally it holds 1. This gives it 2 extra, 3. These allow it to go up to 5. So it should all be kosher. Okay, that's Desmodia is going to be doing a ton of damage next time she gets to go, hopefully to the boss. Next up is the Nemesis. All right, so it's another one of choose one. So let's take a look. Divide. So basically we're going to choose one and cross it out. We can unleash 3 times, which will cost us the game, so we're not doing that. Gravehold suffers 6 damage, or any player suffers 5. At this point, I think I could probably do the damage to Gravehold. I could also hit Arachnos, but you never know what's going to come out. Again, I'm thinking ahead to the future. I feel like the option that's going to harm me the least at the end, I'll be best positioned to do the Gravehold 6 damage, so I'm going to have Arachnos take 5 damage. So I can cross that out. And that's going to do it for the Nemesis turn. So all things considered, not horrible, depending on what else comes up. Oh, it's another Nemesis turn. All right, we've got Inescapable Torment. But is it really inescapable? Wow, the player with the highest life suffers damage equal to their life. It's got 2 power tokens. Under normal circumstances, I would say that's terrifying, but I think I'm going to be able to deal with it. We'll see. Wild, it's Razer's turn. So now is the time we kind of get to figure this out. All right, yeah, I'd love to be able to take this out now, but I think I have to wait till Razra goes again, but that's going to be fine because Razga is going to get another turn. So let's just start setting up. Well, first, let's cast Galvanize for 2 damage. So boss down to 36. We will prep a douse over here. We will play the Summoner's Horn, so I can get... I could get the Galvanize back, but I think what I'm actually going to do, because I'm pretty sure, yeah, I don't want to take a chance that this is my rip. So let's just get our spark back. I can spend these 4 to get a couple charges. That'll give me another charge. And any ally draws 2 cards. I think I just want to get moving through this deck as fast as possible, so I'm going to do it over here. Okay. So that should do it for Razra's wild turn. No minion to silence, unfortunately. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, looks like I'm probably going to draw them all. So, okay. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very basic looking hand. But good enough. And Razor goes again. So now we'll go ahead and cast the Spark. We'll cast the Douse first for 4 damage to the boss, knocking it down to 32. And at this point, I am going to get rid of it. Get rid of a fire token. Just, I like keeping it low. I like getting that bonus. The Spark is going to do 1 damage to the boss down to 31. Get us a token, and then I can spend 2 more to get another one. Now at this point, I'm going to spend all 4 charges, and Rip was patrolling. Right, gain a spell from the supply. There are none left to gain. Get rid of fire token, fine, but we only got 1 left. So I'm not too worried about that. So instead, again, he doesn't have to go higher. He just has to be... he can go up to 3 higher. There are no 12s. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to get Rip Guard. And let me show that to you. So gain 2 life, and allies collectively gain 3 charges, which is nice, but even better in this case, suffer 2 damage. Place a power from the Nemesis deck that is in play into the Nemesis discard pile. So Rip is all over it. Inescapable Torment has been escaped, because now I've got this in my hand. I am going to play it. I am going to take 2 damage, which is a little frightening, as Razor's down to 3, but that gets rid of this, which is amazing. Then I'll go ahead and conjure, just to again keep the damage going. I'll put that over here in case there's a shield that has to be dealt with. The Spark will go there. We're going to want to get Rip back, and then that probably 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. That was Razra. Last but not least, we shift over to Arachnos, and we are in full-on damage-dealing mode. So at this point, boss is at 31. I might just blow the last douse. So we'll go 1 damage to the boss, down to 30. Galvanize, hit it for 2 more, down to 28. That's just a crystal. We'll douse it for 3, and we'll get rid of that to get rid of the last fire token. And Gravehold gains a life. Then we will go ahead and cast that. That's actually 1 more damage from there, so down to 24. That is 3 damage from there, down to 21. Then we can Spark, Galvanize, and Conjure. We have 3. I can't buy anything for 3, so I'll just get a charge. And that's that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Interesting hand. I probably should have put the Galvanize there. But, yeah, I mean, I know that's the way things would have gone. I'd rather have the Galvanize at this point. So we'll just tweak it, and then knowing I'm going to Galvanize, I would put a crystal. It doesn't matter. I'm probably just going to convert everything to spells at this point. Okay. So that's the end of the round. Boss is at 21. Health is low. We will be able to heal somebody for 3 on their next go. Once Rip comes back around, Razra can heal herself thanks to Rip. So we just have to see how things go. You know, if big damage comes out before I have a chance to go, there's not much to be done for it. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Desmodia is go to town on the boss. So we'll start. Let's just do as much damage as possible at this point. So the invigorating, now we'll do the devouring void spark, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down to 16. Then the invigorating void spark, which is 2. Oh, I guess the wild token is supposed to be over here this round. So we'll throw the extra 2 damage over, or extra 2 cards over here. Then this is going to hit for 3, and this is going to hit for 3. So that is going to bring the boss down to 8. And let's see, we've got a Shifter's Cloak, so we can do more damage, but probably not quite kill it. But let me see. Yeah, knowing Desmodia has the wild this round and is potentially going to be able to go again, I'm going to go ahead. Well, first of all, with the we'll do the Shifter's Cloak. So I'll go ahead and might as well cast the Galvanize for the extra damage and the healing. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, knocks this down to 5, healing Gravehold up to 22. Actually, that's 4 damage because it's +1 from the Shifter's Cloak. And then we'll go ahead and spend 2, 3, 4, 5, including the gem that lets me get a relic into my hand to buy a Summoner's Horn. Any player may prep a spell in their discarded pile into an open or closed breach. So we'll go ahead and we will prep a Devouring Void Spark up into here. I will then prep a Galvanize here. We'll just prep the top card using Conjure. And it's the other summoners. Doesn't really matter. Then we'll throw that down. And that is going to be it for that turn. I like our odds here. We're in pretty good shape. We're very close. The Grief fellow is down to 4, and there we go. Maybe? Yes. Razra gets to go. That is 1 damage from the Spark. This is 2, +1 for the open breach is 3. That is game over. So we have defeated the Griefweaver. We've managed to do it without anybody getting knocked or severed. And we have 0 fire tokens. So only 3 supply piles left, so that got a little hairy. But yeah, pretty good. So once again, I think we'll just go ahead and do all the post-game stuff at the beginning of the next video. Give me plenty of time to go through it all, get this one posted, and hopefully I didn't make any giant mistakes where future me is going to have to appear in this video and say what we did wrong, but we'll see. In any event, thanks for watching, and until next time.